That wasn't super surprising, but I thought was pretty entertaining was when AOC went on Mehdi Hassan's show. I think that's on MSNBC, right? And Mehdi was asking her about her voting present on the Iron Dome funding when she had previously said that she was going to vote no on that. And very much in character for AOC, she gives this long-winded word salad response where she said a lot of things, but she didn't really say anything when she did that, which I thought was pretty interesting. So let's check this out. This is from Human Rights Watcher on Twitter. Definitely give them a follow. Their insight and analysis is usually quite on point. So this is their tweet at it. On Sunday, AOC was asked about her present vote in a bill that allocates an extra $1 billion to Israel for their Iron Dome. She defended her decision in the micro. I do believe this created a window in our community to be able to, like, what in the actual, like, just admit, like, you took a cowardly approach. Just say that, like, I wasn't really willing to stand up for the human rights and the basic dignity of the Palestinian people. Like, say that. I would have had, a lot less criticism if she was actually able to do that. But it's always like these very long-winded responses where she doesn't really take any accountability for this atrocious vote or this present vote. Again, I almost feel like voting present is worse. Like Howard Zinn said, the author of The People's History of the United States, which is a pretty decent book. He said, you can't be neutral on a moving train. I almost have more respect for the people, Democrats, Republicans that voted yes for it, because at least they took a stance. She was just voting present, not going to do it either way. Like, I feel like that's honestly worse in some ways, I think. So
is it worth doing present? Because it didn't really satisfy anyone. The supporters of Israel are mad at you for not voting for it. Critics of Israel are mad at you for not voting against it. Do you regret that?
It is something that I weigh, because
She can't even say yes. I regret it. I was on the wrong side of history on this issue, like that. Like, again, the Democratic Party is where social movements go to die. We're not going to see any type of substantial material change for the working class in the United States, or the dismantling of the U.S. empire abroad within the corporate duopoly, right?
There's always the macro and then there's the micro. And in the macro of narrative, of politics, of national impact, I probably should have just gone with my value. But in the macro, which would be to vote no, but in the micro, I do believe that this created a window in our community to be able to...
How did it create a window into your community? You voted present when you should have. Obviously, the correct moral and ethical position would have been to push back against, the apartheid state of Israel and the genocide that they're continuing to perpetrate against the Palestinians. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Again, it's not surprising, but it's like this word salad stuff, man. It's horrible. It's horrible. You need some salad dressing for this shit.
Bring all folks to the table, because my great fear is that we are going to import the same sort of contention around this issue, and we can have
You either stand up for the basic dignity and human rights of the Palestinian people, or you're on the side of the apartheid state of Israel. It's pretty clear that she's not ready or willing to stand up for the basic dignity of the Palestinian people. This is just another example of that, right? Her long-winded response where she doesn't really say anything.
Progressive movement that defends Palestinian human rights, that is Muslim, Christian.
But you're not doing that. You literally voted fucking present. I mean, there was at least a few people that voted no against it, right? I think Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, a couple of others, but Not AOC.
Jewish. So in the micro, I believe that it created a window of opportunity.
What the fuck again, she's like saying all these words, but it doesn't make a lick of
for
sense
us
to me.
in the Bronx. But in the macro, it was very difficult, yes.
God damn, she's so horrible. So there's AOC's word salad response to why she voted present, to give Israel an additional $1 billion for their Iron Dome so they can continue to perpetuate, these atrocities against the Palestinian people. And again, one of the reasons that the state of Israel is able to, treat the Palestinians in such just horrible and disgusting ways is because of the United States' unconditional support of that apartheid regime.